Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mouse Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now this video is going to be a little bit different to some videos I've posted recently, as this isn't a trophy hunt going across various different maps. This is all going to be on Rancho del Arroyo, and as you guys can probably guess by where I'm sat and what my tracking was on there, I have started a fifth Great One grind. Now I have mentioned this in the Discords I'm in and started talking about it a bit. This is the second day of me actually grinding. I have killed about 700, maybe a few more whitetail in this 2 days, which I'm going to hopefully kill some more as soon as I've posted this, but I wanted to get this out and tell you guys that that's what's happening. I didn't think I was going to be doing another Great One grind, honestly, but seeing as I have two Great Ones that are the correct fur type that they should be as commons in the lodge, and two that got messed up by the update that was to fix the bug fur types, but it made some that were common turn to fake rares. Well, two of my Great Ones became, so what they were commons, and one of them became an albino and one of them became a normal piebald. So I don't have those on display where you can actually see their fur type. I have them as antler mounts on the wall because I don't like having them displayed where you can see that fur type where it's incorrect. So I really would just like to have one more so that I can have my Great One huddle mount, which I worked so hard to get. So it'd be really nice just to have that again. So I really just need to get one more to complete that. I have been toying with the idea basically ever since that happened, because I did have my first Great One initially, that turned into a Fable Piebald, and then when they released the hotfix that fixed that, two of the other ones then became rares, so it kind of messed that up, unfortunately. So instead of having my three common Great Ones in a huddle, it made two of them broken. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it was a risk that I knew that could happen from what the devs had said. So we're going to try and get a fifth Great One and see if we can actually have the huddle mount properly, finally, in the lodge, which would be a really, really cool thing to have. It really would be the centerpiece of the lodge and just finish that lodge off really to where I'd like it to be. So that's what's going to be happening for the foreseeable future until another one hopefully pops up, if one will pop up. I'm killing several hundred whitetail a day, as I mentioned, as before. So yeah, already about 700, maybe slightly more down in just under 2 days. So that's going really well, and I have had a number of diamonds and rares already popping up. But something I wanted to say at the start of this video is you will notice I am still doing the same thing. I am still killing as many whitetail as possible on Rancho. That is the way that I do things. I will kill bucks, does. If it's a whitetail, it's going down. Is basically how I grind for them. Now, I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying this is the perfect way to grind for whitetail or anything like that. This is just what I have found works for me, and so it's the way I do things. I will try and take out entire herds if I possibly can and get that entire herd to respawn rather than just taking out a couple of bucks at each zone, and I have found that to be an extremely successful method. So in just under 2 days I have had no less than 5 piebalds and 3 diamond level 3s pop up from doing this. So I'm really, really happy still with how this method works for me, and because on Rancho you can delete zones pretty freely, because the whitetail can only drink in a certain number of spots. They only have a certain number of lakes they can drink at. So deleting zones on Rancho really doesn't matter. They will come back to within those lakes that you know that whitetail can drink at. Whereas on Leighton Lakes, there is so much water all over the map and they can be anywhere. So that's why it's a little bit different to how I did things on Leighton, where I was very strict about managing my need zones and, definitely didn't want to delete any by mistake or anything like that. On Rancho, it's a lot more freeing, and that's why I'm sticking with Rancho for this fifth grind, just because I find it to be more efficient. It's just so much quicker for me to do it this way, and seeing as I've already killed over 11,000, actually probably nearing 12,000, maybe even more, whitetail at this point, I really am just all about efficiency, and I find this to be the most efficient way for me. I will also be using the 300 alongside the M1. You may notice me using the 300 occasionally. And that is because unless it is a diamond, and even with diamonds I'm not too concerned, unless it's something, really, really special, I really don't mind about not getting integrity. I have over 70 diamond whitetail and so many rares that unless it's a gold rare or something, I'm not going to be extremely cautious with it. So if you see me taking risky shots and stuff like that, it's because I just don't need those animals as much as I did perhaps back when I started the grind. If they were something like a big rack level 3, then of course I will be very cautious just in case it happens to be, a personal best. But if it's just a bog standard small rack level 3 like this one here, I'm not overly concerned if something does go wrong, because I'm not going to be taxing any diamonds or rares in this video. The only rares I would be keeping are really big golds for all 3 of the rare fur types. So yeah, that I won't be taxing anything else. So you'll see me intentionally not taxing these diamonds, and that is because I already have a trophy manager full of diamonds that I really have to go through at some point, as unfortunately about half of those got bugged after the hotfix as well. So a lot of those diamonds that I got on my previous grinds have now become albinos or piebald and stuff like that. So which they weren't when I shot them, they were commons. The same as the 4 great ones I shot were commons when I shot them, but unfortunately now 2 of them are showing as having a rare skin, which they shouldn't do. So that's basically why I'm doing this grind, and you guys can see on screen a couple of the results I've had already. And yeah, I'm enjoying it again so far. Like I said, I have been toying with the idea ever since I saw after that hotfix that 2 of my great ones got broken effectively. After I saw that one of them had become an albino and one of them was a piebald, I've been thinking, yeah, I really would like to do another grind just to have that huddle mount where it should be in my trophy lodge, because I feel like after all the work I've put in, I really would just like to have that rather than just 2 great ones on separate mounts. I think to have the 3 together would be really, really nice. I'm honestly not bothered what rack style I get. I don't mind how big it is, how small it is. In fact, I quite like some of the smaller racks. They seem to be a bit more rare. I'm just hoping that I can find another great one. And it is an if, there's no guarantee that one will ever pop up, but I hope by doing what I'm doing and killing several hundred whitetail per day that, eventually one will pop up, which it has 4 times now so far, so fingers crossed. And it's very funny when I think about it that the first grind which I did, which was before Rancho even existed on Leighton Lakes, that actually was the shortest grind in terms of numbers, but it was the longest grind in terms of time. I killed something like 800 plus animals on that first grind, but it took us several weeks, whereas the other grinds I've killed a lot more deer but in a lot less time. So it's about efficiency. That's why I've chosen Rancho. But yes, you're going to see me shooting as many deer as possible in these videos, and that is what I prefer to do. I know I've had a lot of people ask me some questions, so that's why I'm mentioning that here. That my particular method is, if it's a whitetail, kill it. And basically, I've seen a lot of debate, and I mean a lot of debate recently, about how should you grind whitetail? What is the quote-unquote correct way to grind whitetail? Well, I'm going to tell you guys now that there is no correct way to grind whitetail. Especially if you're on Rancho, there's definitely no correct way. It comes down to being as simple as kill whitetail, get respawns. And if you can kill a lot of them, like I do, then it's going to make your grind more efficient and hopefully take less time. Of course, you never know when one's going to pop up. You could kill 1 deer and a great one pops up. Or you could kill 1,000 deer and one doesn't pop up. It's a game of chances. So that's why I do my grind my own way. A lot of people don't like to shoot does, but I find shooting does and getting rid of an entire herd to get an entire herd respawn produces a lot of good results, as I've mentioned and I'm showing in this video. This is literally just under 2 days' work. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it's going so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if for the next week or so it's going to be mainly whitetail content. Let me know in the comments if you do want to see the diamonds and the rares still that I'm shooting, or if you guys are bored of that content, because I know I have done a lot of it before on the other 4 grinds I have kept you guys pretty much up to date with every diamond and rare that I have been shooting. So let me know what you think about that and whether you guys actually want to see that content. Because I probably won't be going into multiplayer to go and look for other trophies at all until I'm satisfied with this grind and where I feel it will end, whether that's with a great one or not at the end of the day. I will keep pushing to try and get a great one, but if, say, we're getting like 7, 8, 9,000 kills into it and there's nothing really to show for it, then maybe I would consider maybe even just delaying it for a portion of time. But for now, at least, this is going to be a big focus of mine. I will just be grinding these pretty solidly. So yeah, that's going to be the next probably couple of weeks of my life, unless the great one decides to show up nice and early for me. You can see this piebald though. Again, this is what I'm saying. I don't really care about having the most perfect shot. I took that shot and it was blind, but it was enough to kill this doe, which is, at the end of the day, all I wanted to do. Is if there's a rare or a diamond about, I like to have them down, whether it's a good shot or not, just so that I know that that animal isn't there and potentially stopping something from spawning, because we don't know if there's some kind of balancing act that goes on that, maybe a great one won't spawn if there's a diamond, or, other diamonds won't spawn if there's a diamond. I've seen that a lot where people have said that their spawns have been really, really bad, and then they found a diamond just sitting in a zone that they don't use. So I try to keep on top of that and really hammer those diamonds and rares when they do pop up and make sure that I get them down. So yeah, nice little piebald buck here, but again, not anything I'm going to keep for the trophy lodge. I do have a couple of nice gold piebalds. I really do kind of want one more gold piebald, and then I'll have a trio of gold piebalds, which would be quite nice. I'd really like another decent melanistic, because I did get a really gorgeous one, I think on the last grind, which had a really nice big gold rack, and unfortunately that got bugged and is no longer a melanistic, which is a bit of a shame. But again, at the end of the day, what I'm looking for is the great one. Anything else that comes along the way is a bonus. Because at the end of the day, as if I want another melanistic, I can look for a melanistic in multiplayer. Unfortunately, I can't look for a great one in multiplayer, especially not at this moment in time, as they are bugged in multiplayer. Basically, they show up as a level 3 with tiny, tiny antlers that you'd think it was a level 1 unless you spotted it. So you can't get them in multiplayer at the moment. So yeah, I need to stick to my own map and grind for that. So until hopefully one pops up, that will be what I'm doing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for all of the support on the channel. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope that I'll be able to bring you another great one video and you'll be able to enjoy that as well. So thank you so, so much for everything, and I will see you guys in the next video.